have shifted my stance a little bit.
So have I.
But I'm going to say, should they? I can't answer the question. But what they shouldn't do is we're not having null and void. But I am leaning towards cancelling. But if we cancel, we have to put something in place to decide the positions, because we can't cancel and null and void the league like it never existed. But I am leaning towards, there's been a lot of stuff about this Premier League restart plan and all this they're doing. And some of the things they said, well, at the end of the day, it's a $1 billion business, and the government surely brings a lot of money to the country. So, and people like football. So obviously when it gets to that point where there's a bit of public backlash about, they're prioritising football too much, yeah, maybe the government will slow down. But clearly the government want football to happen, and it'll be good for the government in the sense if they get football back on track, it kind of shows, we're open, the economy's going to get ready, and it'll be a good lead. Then people will start coming out their houses more and stuff like that. So I think that's why the government wants it to happen. But some of the stuff about like neutral venues, it does seem like a bit unrealistic. And obviously to complete the season by June, or start by June, then complete by July, no pre-season, and it does seem like, but anything can happen as we've seen. So that's the priority. But definitely we're not null and voiding, and we're potentially going to have to start looking at a way to decide who wins the league, or wins the position. Sorry.
Suraj?
Who wins the league? I'm not going to lie, toughest question. I was of the stance of null and void, like let it be, cancel it, because I kind of want next season to not be impacted. But the more you think about it, the less realistic that is. How can you start the next season not knowing anything about the conclusion of this season? I think we conceded the league. For those not involved in the clubs fighting at the top, I think objectively we could look at this and say that you guys have won the league quite well in advance. Okay, mathematically you haven't completed it, but I think prior to Corona kicking in, everyone has conceded that the title will most likely be yours. It's just a question of mathematics. So that's basically what I was saying. So for me, early on, like as a United fan, we're more than many of us don't want it to happen, but we're accepting of the situation, which is you guys are in first place, deservedly so, and with a big enough lead that a lot of people can quite clearly see that it's not really an issue. Like, you deserve the league. I don't think that's the biggest factor involved here. Like I said previously, I've said like teams coming up that get promoted from the Championship up to the Premier League, I think for them will be an even bigger factor. So in terms of cancelling the league, if we cancel the Premier League, obviously the Championship gets cancelled. You can't have one without the other, sort of thing. In that respect, if we think of the bigger picture, starting from the top of the Premiership, so you've got the title decider, who's going to win that? Most likely Liverpool. We've got a battle for fourth position, potentially third. I think Leicester should be, secured there. But you do have the battle for Champions League, which is worth a lot of money, worth a whole different set of TV rights, etc., etc. That draws in caliber players. You've got that side of it. Then you've got the relegation of the Premier League, teams dropping down. You've got the promotion, which is worth multi-millions. So for me, okay, you've got the title, which is mathematically just been the issue. I think most people, when all our teams have considered that they would like to finish the league and they would like to see Liverpool, even Man City have come out and said they would like to see Liverpool awarded the title. So I don't think anyone has to be questioned on that side of it as to why, I think it's the logistics. The most difficult thing about this is logistics. As you say, can we start the league in June and finish by July? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem likely. So for me, I want to see a conclusion to the league. For my own interests, as well as the interests of football, I want to see if we can get into Champions League. I think you guys deserve to be crowned champions. I think that will happen. I think Leeds deserve to probably be promoted. And this is a Man United fan, but I think Leeds probably deserve to be promoted. So it's difficult for us to accept all of this, but we are accepting of the fact that this is already done and dusted, and a lot of it is just formality. The only thing is logistics. When do we begin? I'm not happy about no fans. very passionate about football. I'm not happy about no fans. So for me, neutral venues, no home and away, it's not really feeling like the Premier League anymore.
I'm kind of, I used to be in the place of like the football should finish, right? But I'm kind of thinking maybe it should end now, and the major places which take big effect for these tournaments, they should have playoffs. So obviously Liverpool don't need to be involved in it because everyone thinks they won the league. But that will help if all the other leagues did that as well. So like Italy, France, if, you know, obviously they're not going to do it now, but if they did it.
The thing is, it's each country to their own, but we're quite linked in the same respect. I guess that's
but it's to their own right. It's
Europe.
who the country deems their champion to be. So we're saying Liverpool will be the Premier League champions, right? But what I'm saying is relegation will have their, I agree with you in that sense, relegation will have their battles, and then the mid teams don't need to worry.
I think the team in 20th, are they relegated already, or
who?
Watford?
No, is it Watford?
No, Watford have got out of the relegation.
It's Norwich, isn't it?
It's Norwich, Aston Villa, and Bournemouth.
Yeah, so yeah, but like let's just say if they had about 2 or 3 games between them, I think those guys should be like in a playoff, and then same with, and it should be knockout, and the same with in the.
Do Liverpool not see it out then? Do we not just get
no? Liverpool don't see it out. They become champ. There's no point. That would be unfair. Though logically they should be back in the playoffs, but that would annoy Chidi.
Yeah, but I think obviously
how does Liverpool feel about that? As a Liverpool fan, how do you feel?
Well, that's what I mean. So first of all, I think going back to the countries, obviously it would be, the problem they've got is that, you know, the question is, should the Premier League season finish? Obviously, we can't say should all leagues finish, because the problem we've got is it's dependent on the governments, and every government is looking at their situation different depending on the impact of Corona. So, for example, like we said, in Germany, they've dealt with Corona quite well. They feel comfortable to start the Premier League. In France, they don't feel they've dealt with it well. They don't want to have any relapses. All sports are banned to September. Obviously, it's not realistic for them to restart their league. In the UK, it's up to us. Well, for me, I'm coming to the realization that obviously I want a big parade. You know, I plan to go to Liverpool for the parade. That ain't going to happen. We're likely not going to win the league in front of any fans. That ain't going to happen. We're not going to win, you know, potentially now. We need to start thinking, okay, those 2 major things are not going to happen. Now we have to start thinking, okay, we might not end the season. That ain't going to happen. But then if that don't happen, you start now thinking null and void. And that's the worst thing that can happen. So you're going to have to now think, you know what, let's just take what you can get.
No, but the point is, if you became champions and then some of the other teams played playoffs, Suraj is asking, how would you feel?
I wouldn't feel anyway. That's what I'm trying to say, because it's going to get to the point now where if that doesn't, the issue is now, Liverpool can be champions and everyone can say, oh, Liverpool, take the trophy. But like Suraj said, everybody else, and then everybody else, what do they do? Like, oh, what? Who gets relegated?
It doesn't matter about them. They will deem their own champion, whether they.
No, it does matter, because everybody that's what I'm trying to say. It's either it's only 2 options here. It's the option where Liverpool get the league. There's 3 options. Liverpool get the league. We know Liverpool won the league, and everybody else, okay, let's null and void everyone else. That can't happen. Or we null and void everything. I definitely don't want that to happen. Or we come to a conclusion. If the conclusion is Liverpool won the league, you don't need to play no more games, and everybody else does some playoff thing. That's good for you.
I'm in agreement with the third choice.
Yeah, but if the third option also is we do it on points per games basis, then I'm fine with that. But I'm just saying, obviously the best option is to finish the league. But I think now we need to start.
I think that's unrealistic.
Yeah, so if that's unrealistic, we need to start looking at other options.
I think for the good of football, like, you need to win the league. You can't be gifted the league, in my opinion. I'm not saying that just as a rival. Like, I just feel like you're only 6 points away. Is it 6 points?
Yeah, but I think they earned the league. Champion. Sorry, I think.
But we can't play. If we can't play football, how can we win the league? I don't. And it's not to say
I'm saying if there's going to be football, if they're suggesting like do playoffs between teams that own positions that can win stuff or do stuff or qualify for things, in the same respect, like I think that if those teams are going to participate, then surely Liverpool sees out the last couple of games that they need to secure the title.
How far is second from third?
Second and third are closer together.
But what about second and first?
First and second has a larger gap, but then second and third, Leicester City are closer to City.
But how many games do you reckon? What, 1 or 2?
It's about 2 games. They need to win. They need to win 2. They could have won it by now.
Yeah, so then they would have to be involved, unless you made, just like the championship, you make the first 2 positions clear.
We're 25 points.
2 will be clear, and then 3, 4.
Yeah, but 5, you're not mathematically out of it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, do you feel good about being awarded a title?
Yeah, but then what's the? Okay, so then cool.
The alternative is to play.
What's the other option then? You saying play a couple more games? Is that play a couple more games? As in
I don't think you can do that, Sorge.
Or is that play a couple more games as in the top 4 now go into a tournament to decide positions, which basically is the same.
This is it. It's not going to be Premier League football anymore for me. Like, it's not going to be like the things that have been suggested, like the number of games. It sounds like, for example, like you say you've got a Test cricket match, and now they've decided it's rained for like 4 of the 5 days. Let's do the 5th day as a 2020 match. Like, we're just going to go for 6s, 4s, and wickets. Like, I don't know if we can do penalty shootouts to determine games. I don't know if we can reduce the time.
Exactly. And what happens in Test cricket if you can't make the 5th day?
Then it's a draw.
Yeah, but they void.
They void the game. They draw the game.
So if you play
no result.
If it's so no result, it doesn't count.
No, but I'm saying like
so your league don't count.
No.
I knew that was coming.
No. What I'm trying to say, no. What I'm trying to say is,
stop winding him up.
You're in a Test cricket, and you've got you've already played, and the 5th. Well, okay, I'm not really into cricket.
It wasn't a literal example. It was more like the format changes.
If the 5th day gets rained out and you can't play the game or no one come back, don't they do a pro rata thing? They don't just void the game.
No, that's Duckworth Lewis. That's only if
exactly. So what are you talking about? They don't just void the game. They don't void it, do they? They don't void it.
It depends. If he's saying if all 5 days rained off, he's saying
that's different. But that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I mean. In this situation, if we were at the start of the league and we'd only played 5 or 10 matches, you can say let's void the league. But as in the Test cricket situation, if you got to the end on day 5, which we are at the end, and you couldn't play the 5th game, you do the Duckworth-Lewis method. So I'm saying if we can't...
Yeah, but then there's still an opportunity for someone to win it after you've declared Duckworth-Lewis. Like, there's still an opportunity for someone to come back and try and win it. Either side can still win it. You can't just suddenly declare you're the winner because nothing's happened.
No, I'm not saying we're the winner, but I'm saying that we can do... I'm not saying we're declaring
you're in the
winner. I'm saying we can have a system in place. We can have a system in place, for example, say points per game ratio or whatever that's similar to the Duckworth-Lewis method, and we can decide a winner that way. For me, I'm comfortable because I know we've won the league. Other teams in the relegation, it might not benefit them. Obviously, I don't know the exact.
It's not going to benefit any other team other than second place. Probably Man City.
So you don't think it will decide the method? I'm just thinking the specific method. You don't think there's a method that can say let's end the league now and can be fairly used? Well, obviously it's not going to be fairly because the season hasn't finished. But it's going to be good enough that this is what we're going to have to do, and that can decide the places. You don't think there's a method like that? Because in cricket, that's what they do, right?
I don't think there's any meaning to if Liverpool were to be included in, like, let's say a playoff games, right? Let's just say the top 8 had to do playoff games or something. Then I don't think there's any meaning to the Premiership. I think because they've played 29 games, I think that can count as what? That's more than 75%, right? If I'm doing my maths correct.
That's what I'm saying. The 5th day, we're on the 5th day.
I think they can be handed a title. It was very unlikely, very, very, very unlikely.
Yeah, I'm not saying
very unlikely and certain are 2 different things. Like I
agree with that. I agree with that.
Most people have conceded that you guys are going to be champions, but by the laws of it, there is a chance that Man City, you could lose every single game. It's not likely to happen, but this is a possibility that you could lose every single game from now to the end of the league, and Man City wins every game from now to the end of the league, and they win the title. It's very unlikely. But there is, whether it be 1% or 2% or 3% chance, there is mathematically a chance for them to win. So how do we gift it to you And although
No.
everyone's comfortable,
That's what you need to stop saying, because it's not gifting. You're not gifting us anything. We're not getting gifted nothing. We lost one game this season.
have you
Nothing.
won the league as it stands?
Exactly. We haven't won the league as it's. We haven't won the league as it stands. And what I'm saying is,
Okay.
let's go back to the test thing. I'm not really a big test cricket person, but you two might be. What I'm trying to explain is that, okay, if you go to the Duckworth-Lewis method and you get to the 5th day and the 5th day suddenly rains and you can't play no more, obviously there could be a team that loses.
Yeah, it goes to
and says,
Duckworth-Lewis.
but that's not fair. Yeah, but that team that loses could say, well, that's not fair because on the 5th day.
But yeah, it is.
On that day.
Chile, there's a system in place in cricket.
Yeah, there's
so
rules
they
in place.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say.
There is no system.
Do you not think? Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to explain here.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm saying is that I don't want to null and void the league, and I don't think it's possible, and I don't think it's fair. The best solution is for the league to finish, but what I'm saying is there a middle ground where a system can be put in place that you guys will think that's fair, that can decide the winner of the position?
I would hope so. Like, considering they're having discussions and that all the 20 teams of the Premier League have aligned and said, we will finish this season. English FA has said this season will finish. They've been in talks. They've all agreed on that. So for us, I guess we're just speculating what format it possibly could be. But as far as they're concerned, and as far as all the teams involved are concerned, two things have materialised. One, most of the teams or all of the teams in Premier League are happy to concede the title to Liverpool. Two, all 20 teams want to conclude the season, because just in the same right that you guys get to get crowned champions, just in the same right Chelsea should get the right, or Man United should get the right, or Leicester City should get the right to confirm the Champions League spots. In the same respect, if we're going to crown a champion, we're going to crown Champions League winners, we can't just ignore the bottom half of the league. Like, if there is potential for the two of the three teams at the bottom to come out, you have to give them that opportunity. Like, we can't have football as take the stance that we just want to end everything, but then only end it for the sake of a few of the top sides. Like, we need to be even throughout the league. So if we're going to play it, like, everyone should get an opportunity. I don't know how it works in the playoff style. I'm not sure. But maybe after the meeting that's supposed to happen this Thursday, we'll get a better understanding of, because I think even the government's pushing them as well. Like, they want to understand as well. Like, there's going to be a lot of questions. There's a lot of uncertainty. The two facts remain. The one main fact is people want to conclude this season, and the people involved in football want to conclude this season, and they're the ones that obviously count for this measure. So that they're in their line. The only thing is logistics is crazy. It's not going to be Premier League anymore. It's not going to be fans present at the games anymore. The format may be that you play potentially 2 games in 4 days, 3 games in 5 days.
What about if they don't worry about? What about if they don't worry about the top 10, top 12 altogether?
It's not going to be the Premier League.
What about if they leave that, because the league is pretty much and just play playoffs for the relegation part, and then the championship.
We might as well give Liverpool a different kind of title then. Like, what do we do?
I know,
exactly.
But then you're on the point of null. Like,
he's not on the point of null. But I'm trying to say,
we want it concluded.
We want
concluded.
Okay, wait, one sec. Let me. No. But my point is, if we went that route, right, that means that Liverpool's Premiership can be based on one game. It could be based on a knockout game that they have not lost. But they've only lost one game in 29 games, and one knockout game, and they could lose the Premier League. Because I don't see how else it can be done. Because
they've got 5 or 6 opportunities to win it. They've got 5 or 6 games left, and they've got 5 or 6 opportunities to pick up the 6 points that they need. It's just mathematics. They need to secure.
Oh, so you're saying reduce the amount of games left? Yeah, but then they've.
I don't see how it can work. I don't even know what I'm saying.
I don't know how that works.
Thing about this conversation, I don't know what I'm saying.
The bottom line is that nobody thinks that we don't think. It seems like nobody here is in agreement for null and void. We don't think null and void should happen.
No, I don't think null and void should happen.
The best case scenario is
no one wants it null and void unless you're in 20th position and you're already relegated. You're probably the only person in the world saying null and void, because it gives you an opportunity to get out of your position. Everyone else has got something going on.
Can we finish the league? That would be the best scenario. Even though certain teams might say, "Oh well, Rashford returned or Kane returned or I'm not match fit now and I lost momentum.
No one can help
obviously that's the best scenario though. But in between, it's how do you, if that can't happen, what do you do in between? And you just said something now, Siraj. You were like, oh well, everybody's in agreement that we should concede the league to Liverpool, but we don't want no conceding. What are you conceding? We win the league. I'm not even being funny here. I'm a Liverpool fan and I want us to win the Premier League, but I will. If every fan starts talking about you're conceding as the league, then let's play 4 games and
let's null and void. Let's null and void the league.
I'd rather us play 4 games. We'll play City. We'll play you guys, Man U again, and we'll decide of 4 games. We're conceding what? We're not conceding Liverpool the league.
I think it's just the language you use.
We took the league. We took the league. You didn't give us nothing. We took it. I don't like that word.
I think you're offended, mate. I think you're offended. Gifted, conceded.
Gifted, exactly. How are you going to gift? We lost 1 game. You're gifted.
Awarded. Yeah, I agree, sir. Just wind him up.
Come on, are you serious? No.
When you get the title,
this is going on bloopers.
You didn't gift us nothing. We took the league. We took it.
If the title's a trophy, about 8% of it we should shave off.
Well,
she only earned
better than saying, yeah, we'll take that.
92% of it.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll take the trophy without one of the handlebars. I'd rather do that.
It wouldn't look good on the trophy cabinet, mate.
I don't care. I'm not conceded. Because then everyone's going to be like, oh, you got given the league now. We need to finish the league. I'm even like, we need to finish the league. Somehow it has to finish. And like I said, if it's a point...
we focused a lot on Liverpool, but we've ignored. What about good old Leeds and all of them down there?
I think they have to have playoffs. Unless they're well away, I think they should have playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. If we do it by finish the league, it's going to be tough luck for some people. But if we finish the league as the positions are now, that means you didn't gift us nothing.
We've got momentum on our side. COVID's coming.
But you get in the Champions League, so Man City not in the Champions League actually benefits you lot to finish it as it is now. So you're actually going to be benefited. Man City are not in the Champions League, and you're in 5th position, so it actually benefits you to finish the league now. It's actually going to be other teams that are going to say, well, that's not fair. Like Chelsea, and they might.
I'm in agreement. So I wanted to conclude, but my thing is like I'm looking at next season because we're in a building project kind of thing. So transition. We wanted like 3-4 transfer windows. We wanted that blueprint set, the players to come in, and we're still in that model, I believe, even though it might be adapted. I was looking forward to next season because obviously this season I'd conceded a couple of things here and there. We suddenly looked like we were in a battle for 4th with Chelsea. I think things were hotting up, and our defence had suddenly picked up a little bit. We were keeping clean sheets. We were scoring. We're looking. Bruno Fernandes looked pretty good for us. We had momentum going. Like I'll be gutted if we don't get the chance. I'm not saying we will get Champions League, but we've got a massive chance of putting pressure on Chelsea and having a battle towards the end of this season, and that would have looked good for the Premier League. It would have been a good advert like us two.
Where do you stand if it gets to the point where no solution is feasible, nobody wants to null and void the league, so it gets to the point where, you know what, we're going to finish the league at all costs, potentially overlapping next season?
I think already we're going to have to concede that these guys are humans, they're not machines. That next season we have to push back already. But my concern is you can't have back-to-back leagues without a break. We're going to kill them. They're going to die.
They've had a break already, man. Their break is now. When's the last time they came off the winter break? They played football for a couple of weeks, so they've had a 2-month break. What break do they need? We're talking about player cuts. Yeah, they're on 100 grand. I'm mentioning they're on big boy wages. They don't need no break. They play. If anything, cancel the Euros again and forget about that.
But that's it. They're pushing back the internationals and everything. So it's a bit of a tough one.
All right, guys. Let's conclude from here anyway.
No null and void.
Please null and void.
We ain't null and void and nothing. I'll tell you that.
Me as a Man United fan, I hope Liverpool don't win the Premier League. I've said it now, and I hope every Man United supporter subscribes to this channel as well.